Greetings, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I have drifted into the underworld. The Star Wars underworld. I have a bad feeling about this.
Here we go. We must go to the lower levels. The underworld.
You've taken your first step into a larger world.
You're after something.
Ben.
Since I've started the underworld, I've met so many great friends.
Chris.
I grew up in the 1990s, and mall packaging is nostalgic for me.
Dominic.
What I love most about Star Wars is that it's fun, and it's all-round good times.
So, this is where the fun begins.
May the Force be with us.
This thing really moves!
I like this!
I can't believe you came all this way to see me.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Underworld podcast, your weekly source for all the latest breaking Star Wars news, rumors, and discussion. And this week, we are back, just like the Bad Batch, to talk about Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2 of the Bad Batch, Spoils of War and Ruins of War. Huntah, Teek, Icko, Wrecka, and Omeega are all back. And we're looking forward to discussing their continuing exploits this week and for the next, I think, 13, 14 weeks as we break down the entirety of Season 2 over the first couple of months of this year. But this week, we're only talking about Episodes 1 and 2. And then later on in the show, at the end of the show, we will finally reveal the final results from last year's Star Wars Underworld Trivia Championship, because there was a missing piece of data. There was a missing bit of information, and we now have that, and we will reveal all after we discuss the Bad Batch. So much to get into this week, but first, introductions are in order in case you're new to the show or you've forgotten who we are. Maybe you partied a little too hard over New Year's, and you're just like, what is the show? I don't know who these people are. My name is Dominic Jones, and with me, as always, he's the founder of the Star Wars Underworld, Ben Hart, the Star Wars guy.
How's it going, everybody? Good to be back. Happy New Year. And yeah, it's really great to be back in the saddle talking about some Bad Batch. And yeah, Season 2 starting off with a bang. And we have a lot to talk about. Thankfully, there's not a whole lot of news going on, thankfully. So thankfully, we have some Bad Batch to talk about. But we might get some news. I don't know. And we may not. I don't know. We may be just be talking about Bad Batch because normally speaking, we just have one-track minds. We just stay on these. We
can't focus on more than one thing, man.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
What do you expect from us? Come on.
Jeez.
It's like there's Bad Batch, and I just forgot everything else in my life. I haven't been to work in months.
There's nothing else.
Bad Batch, yeah, it's great. Also with us from the Raeside, it's Hannah Raeside.
G'day there. It is great to be back. I missed a couple of episodes at the end of the year. It's always that craziness at the end of the year of holiday period. But it's good to be back in one of my favorite Star Wars shows. I'm so excited that the gang's back together in terms of us, the gang, and also the Bad Batch gang. So yeah, it's a great day. What a way to start the year. What a great way.
Yeah. I think we all missed a couple of shows at the end of the year there.
Yeah,
there's about 4 or 5 weeks there where it was like some combination is here. And even this week, we're all here, but we won't all be here for long, because joining us from Anime Los Angeles, as always, good friend of Ghost, Chris Seekell.
Hey guys, yes, I'm at another convention. I'm at a convention center that doesn't really see Star Wars conventions, but sees other types of conventions. I'm in Long Beach, California, and yeah, I could not wait more than 5 days to go to a convention in 2023. So let's go.
True fan.
Yeah, there was no holding back. It was right back to the conventions.
No.
Yeah. Nice. Well, we'll get into Bad Batch in just a moment. As always, couple things we want to remind you of. Punch the subscribe button. Maybe you're looking for Bad Batch talk this year. Maybe you're looking for Mandalorian talk this year. Maybe you're looking for Ahsoka talk this year, or Skeleton Crew talk this year. There's going to be so much to talk about this year. So punch the subscribe button, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to. And if you're listening live, if you're watching live on YouTube and you want to make sure that we see your comments, and you also want to financially support the show, super chat with us. Send us a super chat and we will get to them towards the end of the discussion. or you can also become a channel member and join the strange clone battalion that we've built up. I don't know how our clone battalion would do against the Bad Batch. I have a feeling we'd get our asses kicked, but who knows? You never know. And if you like the show, make sure you review it on your favorite pod catchers. We prefer the 5-star reviews. We'll settle for a 4-star one. I guess we'll take a 3-star one. But if you drop any lower than that, I mean, what's the point in being negative? What's the point in spreading around negativity like that? And as always, join the Star Wars Underworld Network Discord for the continuing discussion between shows. The link in the descriptions should always be the same. You no longer have to ask Ben to go get the other guy with the key to open the door.
Unless someone forgot to put an updated link in this specific description and it doesn't work for some reason.
Oh yeah, I see. Lucky
Lego.
Lego in the chat.
I'm actively fixing that now. Okay?
We pranked you. We were testing you. We were waiting for someone to test the link to see if you would click the link. And great news, you did. So
yes, all a test with mind games.
That's funny.
All right, let's dive into things. Let's talk about the Bad Batch. We're of course talking about season 2, episode 1, Spoils of War, season 2, episode 2, Ruins of War. These episodes are written by Jennifer Corbett and Gina Lucida Monreal, respectively, and directed by Stuart Lee and Nathaniel Villanueva, respectively. We'll begin how we always do. Go around the table, give some initial impressions of the episode. Ben, new year, same bit. We're going to throw it to you first. What did you think of Spoils of War and Ruins of War?
I would be disappointed if you didn't. So yeah, this episode, this season really started off with a bang. I really did enjoy both these episodes. They weren't I think maybe my only criticism of them is they didn't give me like the meat of the story. Perhaps it didn't give me as much as maybe I wanted to. Maybe that's just my expectations going in regards to like, where is this going? What are we doing? We get some hints and we'll definitely discuss like what we get in this episode in regards to what's the trajectory of these characters. You know, I think season 1 did a really great job of setting them up, where they came from, getting to them to a certain, standpoint in their lives, and then leaving them kind of open-ended. And I think these 2 episodes really do a great job of continuing to world build, continuing to get into this post-Republic, now Empire world that we're living in, and giving us a really great point of view story that's really sunk into this post-Clone War galaxy. And it's really fascinating. It's a lot of stuff happening. I like where the characters are going. And I think specifically, it feels like Lucasfilm was listening to this show. It feels like Kathleen Kennedy herself was listening to this show. Maybe Dave Filoni, both of them. I know Thursday nights they come and they gather around their computers and they watch the show. I know they do. Because like one of our biggest, or maybe one of my biggest complaints, I can't remember how many people agree with me, but like Tech and Icko seemed to get kind of shafted last season. They were just like, didn't do a whole lot. This episode, like these 2 episodes specifically, especially the second episode, like goes all in on those 2 characters and like gives us some really good character moments for both of them, which I really enjoyed overall. So I think this is already off to a great start, I think, in going into these characters more and, learning more about them. And, I don't know what's next, but we definitely get a good jumping off point for the next season for this one.
Yeah, I think this episode. These episodes had a good. I like that jumping off points. Good starting place for the season. Hannah, what about you? What did you think of the first 2 eps?
Yeah, for sure. Well, straight off the bat, I think I've learned so much about myself and my approach to Star Wars in the past 6 months. Because immediately my excitement level for the show is a lot higher than my excitement was for Andor. And that's just a subjective thing. I think I'm just more attuned to the Star Wars animation. I'm always get really excited for the animation that comes out. I think all of it has been amazing. So very, very excited. I was keen for Andor, and Andor was interesting. I was a bit up and down with it, but yeah, just like my going into this show, I was just so keen for more animation. And Yeah, very similar to what Ben you were saying. I think there wasn't as much like it wasn't like the most punchy premiere. There wasn't some massive reveal and we're doing some wild insane thing. But I thought it was a really solid opener. I think it was all about establishing and making a base. We establishing the dynamic between the Bad Batch at the moment, because it has been a little bit of time, I think it's a couple months or more than just a couple months, within a year since season 1. So it was interesting to see what the dynamic is at the moment, and where everyone's kind of at, and also just to see what the Empire's up to. Clones are still around, but they're not fully into. They're obviously not stormtroopers yet. So I think it was just a good base to be like, okay, this is where everyone's at. Rampart's still here. He's trying to be scary. Bad Batch is still doing this. I think it was really solid, not as punchy as probably a lot of people would have liked, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good, fun opener.
Yeah, it didn't have the same pizzazz as the season 1 premiere. There wasn't Order 66. There wasn't Kanan.
I was going to say I feel like that's hard to beat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to, like, Aftermath was like, I genuinely think Aftermath, the opening episode of season 1, is like one of the best Star Wars movies. Like, no joke. Like, it's great.
For sure.
You can't top that. You can't top that. Like, that was great. So, like, I think season 2 is not trying to top that. It's just trying to, like, okay, we're just continuing the story, and we're doing more stuff, and it's not going to be. And I think the rest of the season is probably going to be more punchy.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to go next. Chris, I'm going to make you go last because you're going to leave as soon as you give your thoughts. So I'm going to make you go. I'm going to make you listen to me for a minute here. For me, I'll say this. This season kind of got a little bit off to a rocky start for me, but I think it had more to do with external factors than the show itself. Because I'll just sort of let you into my routine a little bit here. I start work very early in the morning these days, and usually wind up having to have a nap when I get home, because I'm too tired to function as a human being. And so I can't really stay up to watch the episodes at 3 a.m. anymore, which sucks. And have to try and make it through the day without finding out any spoilers, which I did, which was great. But then I got home and started to watch the episode, and not because of the episode itself, but just because I was really tired, I started to sort of like nod and fade, and I wasn't quite making it through the episode. And I really wasn't enjoying it just because it had messed with my routine and I wasn't like feeling it. So I came away from that first viewing kind of going like, I don't know if Bad Batch season 2 is going to do it for me. If this is what they're leading with, I don't know if this is going to be it. But then I rewatched the episodes today after my nap, before the show. Like them a lot better. Still, are they my favorite episodes? Not necessarily. I have some issues that we'll get into, but they were much stronger when I was fully rested and alert and aware of what was going on around me. So I will. I'm going to judge them more on the second viewing than the first viewing, because the first viewing was negatively impacted by my own decision making, and also I find that I fall asleep during stuff more easily now than I used to. Sorry, Avatar. Anyway, Chris, over to you.
Oh man,
your
It's
thoughts.
funny.
Your opening and final thoughts.
Yes, this is all the entire podcast boiled down to this one moment. So that rant's going to be extra long. But no, actually, I think I can keep it pretty brief. First point is I agree with you, Dom, that like it wasn't the start. I was underwhelmed by it. And then I also agree with Hannah, but backwards, in the sense that my hype level for Andor was much higher than my hype level has been for Bad Batch. And I'm way more excited for Andor season 2 than Bad Batch season 2. So literally everything Hannah said, just reverse it. And that's how I feel.
I love that.
So that's kind of funny that we're like the opposites about that. And again, I don't think it has as much to do with just animation versus live action per se, but just the way the animation's written versus the way the live action is written. I want to see more animated stuff written like Andor. I think that would be cool. And then I agree with Ben to say that I like the beginning, the opener, the premiere of season 1 better than the premiere of season 2, which is kind of unfortunate because I'm thinking back to like Star Wars Rebels, for example. Star Wars Rebels had some really awesome premieres. Like some of my favorite episodes of Star Wars Rebels were the first episodes of the seasons. So it's kind of unfortunate that this one didn't do it for me like that. So that being said, the things I liked about the episode is I thought, first of all, it was animated amazingly. Like the shot of the water and the beach,
Gorgeous,
and the first shot of the show.
They are
It's one of the most
flexing.
amazing animated shots I've ever seen out of a Star Wars project, out of any project, really. Pixar, anything. It was just, it looked absolutely
Avatar.
incredible. Oh, it's better than Avatar.
Forget Way of
Better than
Water. This
Avatar.
is the Way of Water.
Yeah.
The Way of the Bad
The Way
Batch.
of Water. Yeah. So that was amazing. So I just enjoyed the animation, and the animation of Sereno was really, really beautiful as well. So it was visually a really stunning episode, or a pair of episodes, and it picked up as you got into it. Like, I love the action scenes towards the end. Absolutely amazing. But it really took a little bit to get going for me. Like, it was kind of slow. And I was kind of underwhelmed by it. And I'm hoping that the season has more in store than just this kind of on the plot side and the character development side. Because even though we did get some moments, I don't feel like we got enough. I don't feel like we got enough to really make a complete character development arc story in this episode, or a pair of episodes. I keep thinking of it's like one. So I'm gonna rate it together, because it's kind of one. It really is one story that just has a cliffhanger in the middle of it. So I'm gonna say that it's an 8 out of 10 for me. It's a solid start, good elements, really cool seeing Sereno and Dooku's castle and learning more backstory about his people and how he's exploiting them, and like that was great. But again, like, it felt like the stakes were a little bit too low, and it felt like the suspense, the stakes, the character development, everything was just a little bit toned back from what I was hoping. It didn't feel like we were taking a step back, but just kind of staying around the same. And it was just kind of like, it feels like the show's plateauing to me right now, and I want to see it go to new heights. And so 8 out of 10 is my score for both episodes. So you can work that into whatever is 8 out of 10 for both, or average, or whatever you want to do in the final count.
It's just, I think we're going with I think we're scoring both episodes together.
There we go.
I think any weeks where you have 2 episodes at a time, I think you just count
I did
them
like the
as one.
second one better. So it's kind of like a 7 out of 10 and a 9 out of 10. But I don't know.
It works
It's
out
hard.
as an 8. All
But
right.
so that's-
All right. Well, thank you for sharing those with us, Chris. Now go get your anime on, your Pokemon on, your Yu-Gi-Oh on.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Digimon
So
on.
this is an anime character now.
Yeah.
Anime character because of the Studio Ghibli short.
Yeah. Which
Yep.
is great.
Officially,
I don't know.
Grogu is in the anime universe, so I'm allowed to wear it this year. They let me in.
They let you in. Good.
Wow.
All right. See you guys.
See you, Chris. Yeah.
Bye, Chris.
Bye.
The Grogu